Hey Bridgepoint, this is Jared, and I wanted to take just a minute to celebrate some of what we've seen God doing so far this year. We started the year kind of in the throes of another COVID resurgence, and in the months to follow, we have seen just a really incredible return of people to Bridgepoint. So, from January to Easter, we've continued to see more and more people reconnect and fill the two services that we've had. And then on Easter, we got to celebrate 3 full services with a lot of the church family coming back together in a really special way, in a way that we haven't been able to do in a couple years. And it was so sweet. And then just this last Sunday, we celebrated Mother's Day. And it was so neat to see many of you bring family members or friends back with you. In the weeks to follow the egg hunt, we've seen several of those participants, those event guests, come and begin to ask questions and check out Bridgepoint. And we believe that there are even more who will be coming soon. And so, this spring has really been in many ways a return to life for the church. I mean, that's what spring is, right? You're going to come out of the darkness and the cold into warmth and light, and it feels like that has been the case for us as a church. And while I get to see it and the staff gets to share that perspective, I just wanted to give you that perspective too, that God is doing really good things here. And if this is your church, you're a part of it. You have been a part of it for probably a little while now. And as we look ahead to the summer and especially to the rest of this year, later in the fall, we believe that this is just the beginning of the work that God has for us, what God intends to do among us, and the fruit we think that He will bring forth from the work of His church. And so as we anticipate that, we know that there are a few things that we can do now to get ready for what God is going to do in the future. And so I wanted to mention one of those to you. You know, if you've been around for any length of time, that we exist to make disciples of Jesus in relationships. And one of the key characteristics of a disciple is that they do their part to make the church healthy and strong. Disciples of Jesus strengthen His church. And one of the ways that happens is when people step up to find a way to serve according to their time and their talent and their gifting. So not every disciple of Jesus will find their perfect place to serve within the church or within a ministry team. But the church will be at its best when most of the disciples in the church find their place to serve. And we know that we've faced a lot of challenges in rebuilding our serve teams since COVID started. This has probably been, honestly, the most difficult part to rebuild. We've seen growth on Sunday mornings and in small groups and classes, but the serve teams have been the part that there's just been a lag in the return to health that we've seen there. And so as we anticipate continued growth in the fall, we don't know if this will mean that we need to move to 3 services or just expand what we offer in 2. At this point, we know that the only way for the church to be at its best is for us to continue to grow these serve teams. And so I'm appealing to you, the church, people who live with Jesus as King. I'm asking you to please consider joining a serve team. Maybe for some of you, you did this before COVID and you've been reluctant to get back into it. Maybe for others of you did it before COVID and you've just fallen into some bad habits that you need to get out of. For many others, you've never taken this step before. And I'm confident that if you choose to do this, whether you have before and you need to get back into it, or you never have before and this is the place to start, I am confident that by jumping onto a team, it will be a blessing and encouragement to you and your faith. By doing so, you start to connect with people beyond just some of the passing that happens on Sunday mornings. You start to form more meaningful relationships. In addition to that, you'll have a leader who cares for you in a little bit more focused way. And maybe the best part of all is that you just have the joy and encouragement of knowing that what you're doing truly makes a difference. And so my hope is that you would find a way to step in according to your availability. We know that everyone has different availability, different gifting, different passions, but there are a lot of different ways to make a difference by serving your church. And so I want to highlight a couple. We have a production ministry here that gets almost no face time. They are the ones hidden in the back of the auditorium who do so much work to make our Sundays happen, both in person and online. And because they're often hidden and few people really know what they do, that ends up being one of the harder teams to build and develop. And so if you have any interest in technology, if you enjoy pushing buttons, if you like listening to things sound good, if you enjoy lights and creativity, if you just like being a part of a team that has a great culture, like this could be a great place for you to start. They are well led and really have a meaningful impact on the church. And so I just want to give Lucas, our production director, and his team a shout out. They're so faithful week after week. And I would love for you to consider maybe jumping onto their team. There's a place for you there. Maybe if that's not the case, maybe if you are more people-oriented, you really enjoy welcoming and creating hospitable environments and engaging with people. Keith also leads the First Impressions team, and there's a pretty significant need there for people to jump in, to open doors, to share smiles, to pass things out and to help people find seats. And so it's a way that you can serve even while you worship. So maybe for you, that would work best. So I'd love for you to consider one of those, production ministry or First Impressions. Of course, we also have worship arts. If you have any musical talent, singing or playing an instrument, and you have a heart to worship the Lord, and that's a great place. And then, of course, we have kids and students as well, Next Gen Ministry, that disciples those who are youngest in our church family. And so one way or another, we hope that you can help us prepare for what God is doing. There is a really good thing happening here. We hope you hear that first. We believe that it's just the beginning. And so our hope is that if you are a disciple of Jesus that calls Bridgepoint home, you'd find a way to strengthen the church by doing your part to serve where you can. So church, we love you. We can't wait to see what God has for us the rest of this year.